Hey folks, just a quick refresher for those of you who are rusty on what spells to use on the Kunark mobs. A lot of this is pretty intuitive, especially for Goranair and Talendor, but there are a few things you need to watch out for. First, due to the big resist modifiers on taps, Shadow Knights coupled with an Unholy Aura harm touch can really be stealth nukers and parse very high when they have that up. Another thing like that is Rangers on Goranair. One of the AEs slows all the melee, but in a shorter fight, Rangers can just chain nuke with their fire DD and do pretty well. Third, and this is mainly for wizards, but you'll want to balance your normal nukes versus your lures based on not just the target, but also your force. If it's looking like a quick fight or a DPS race, lures are generally better. If it's a longer low man fight, you'll want to use your reins for more efficiency. Okay, so that said, let's go through the main lines you'll want to use on this stuff. I'm starting here with Severus. You'll pretty much want to stick with fire on this one. Magic can land a bit, especially if you've got a big resist modifier on your spells. Next up we've got Veneral Sethir, and I actually had an old parse lying around for a couple of these. Nothing is going to land on this except lures. Ice and lightning are both fine. But this is really just a melee fight, so don't get your hopes up too much. Goranair next in Dreadlands. This one is all about fire. Melee are really crippled on this fight, so if you've got a fire nuke, like if you're a ranger or a druid, you should help out the DPS and be using that. Now we're in Skyfire searching for Talendor. Again, pretty straightforward on this one. It's very similar to Nagafen, so just use ice if you've got it. One thing I haven't mentioned but is really good to know is that all of these dragons are bellycasters, and since if you're trying to eke out more efficiency, you'll want to be using reins, it's important to know how to stand. If you stand too close, you'll end up reining yourself, and probably at this stage just not resist it and end up dying because of that. A good way to check your positioning is to look where the pets are standing. If they're swinging at the mob, they're at the boundary of the hitbox usually, so as long as you're a bit inside the pets, you should be fine. And finally, we've got Trachanon. Lots of caster types do pretty well here. Usually you'll want to stick with fire or ice, although again, life taps are a good one to try. Wizards can also use Lure of Lightning, which is, again, a choice if you're just trying to get the max DPS on a shorter fight, rather than worrying about efficiency. Oh, one thing I also wanted to mention before wrapping up is that enchanters should not be nuking. Those enchanter nukes have a push component and are essentially negative DPS. Anytime your 500 hit point nuke ends up pushing the mob out of a few melee's hitbox, that's just actively bad. Okay, good luck everyone.